for you folks, because Gus has been steadily improving over the course of this tournament so far. So don't expect this to be a one-way thing. Don't expect this to be a walk in the park for Nug. We'll see how this plays out. I'm very excited. We should be kicking off any moment now.
Also, I want to apologize to anybody if you can hear me coughing continuously throughout this run. I have developed a bit of a cough during today. Don't worry, I tested negative this morning. I'm all fine, but I may be a little coughy.
Let's get some healthy get well soon wishes for my co-commentator here. Hopefully his voice does not feel the pain as we progress through this race. But we see, we are off and underway now. The coaster is loading into City Escape. That's with a slight afterload advantage early on due to that difference in load time between the GameCube and PC versions of the game. But Gus missing that second round, so immediately giving Nug a chance to catch up here.
That is the first ramp skip I have seen for this tournament. I don't know if it is the first one, but it's the first one I have been witness to.
Well, we're seeing here Nug already narrowly behind, despite that little bit of wait time just to get into the stage. Looking already to close that gap and catch up nicely here. So we'll see. We'll leave her on a pull-off C skip. Gus opts not to go for it at all. Nug launches himself off the ramp and cleanly makes it into City Escape skip. That's a fantastic bit of execution there, and that will already give him a massive advantage.
Yeah, that's not what the Gus fans here wanted to see. The lovers of the upset. I was going to be a bit disappointed. He was already going to be playing against a much higher considered runner if you go by PBs. So definitely going to be a race in Nug's favour now.
I think those, as you say, fans of the upset, a lot of people rooting for Gus here today. Lowest seed in the entire group, but in with a chance of making brackets still in his final game. It's the kind of thing we love to see. But we do see Nug, who, through force of habit, we may accidentally switch to referring to his other username, Boostler, back and forth. But they are one and the same, NugRunner and Boostler, just to avoid confusion there early on. Getting out of City Escape with a solid 1:32 time. Not bad at all.
Yeah, we see Gus here hitting the truck section. Probably, if there's a very clean section, maybe looking at 210, but it's not looking like the cleanest, so probably looking closer to 215, 220.
Yeah, he just needs to get himself going. Immediately we see Nug very happy over that C skip attempt, saying, PB is on. It could happen, but a long way to go yet.
We do see a 215, so I've still got that prediction magic.
Yep, not too bad at all from Gus there. And just to compare what these two runners' PBs are, I'll see if I can pull that up shortly, but we'll keep an eye on Nug as he progresses nicely here with the first two hits on Bigfoot, landing that third one as well, and a cleanly executed fight all around, getting those 4 hits with no problems whatsoever, a 22.89 time. Good stuff from Boostler. See how Gus can play this fight now.
Expect to see back bot strats here from Gus. Definitely the safer.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
Oh no,
it's an interesting thing, but no. Well, not paying off though, unfortunately. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He may have heard what you said, may have opted to sort of see if he could flex his muscles there a little bit and say, no, I can do front box strats.
Fantastic three-piece there for Nug.
Hello, not bad at all. And into a nice piece too, it looks like.
So not quite.
What's it going to be? It's treasure.
Not quite getting the piece initially off them. Burst chooses a very, very good set here for Nug.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. That should get him around about a 20-second time if he plays this nice. Yeah, very, very nicely done. That's the kind of Wild Canyon RNG you love to see early on. Gus with holding a box and opting to go for the bird box checks despite not getting the camera switch to have that optimally, and now changing his mind as to taking that piece. He will instead get near the 6 pillars. So a bit of misfortunate RNG there for Gus, which will hand Boostler a further advantage. No free pieces on display here that I could make out there for Gus either. Gonna have to make his way over to Wings of the Two Birds.
Oh, we did have that free piece. One of the green red tribes. Other side.
Yeah,
there he goes.
A lot of people go for that check there. Struggling here a little bit.
It can be a little awkward to see against the background.
I don't think he noticed it actually. Yeah, I don't think he could make out where it was. So That's unfortunate for Gus to not spot that one. But he comes out with a 41.10 on the clock there. Nug just cruising through Eggman 1, no problems for him in that regard. But yeah, going back to the PBs, Nug sits pretty with a 26.13 IGT PB at the moment. I believe Gus's PB has taken place in this tournament. If I'm not wrong, I believe it stands at... just trying to pull that up now. I believe it stands at a 37, unless I'm mistaken, which he obtained in his race against Yarasu. May have beaten that since, but that's what I currently have on record. So yeah, both runners on solid pace so far for their relative standards.
Yeah, there's your correction in chat. Gus does have a 33.
Gus does have a 33. Thank you for filling me in. Verxel there with the information.
They're underselling for Gus. A lot better than he gives him credit for.
Absolutely, you know. And every single runner who's opted to come in and compete in this tournament is fully deserving of that respect, you know. Especially Gus to have carried it this far, you know, to still be in with a shot this late on. Of course, down to circumstances, you could say, such as, you know, forfeits from other runners, but you are where you are, and now go and do your best to make that opportunity count. But unfortunately, they're a little bit of trouble with the fence hop, as he makes his way towards the elevator section, a little bit behind in terms of execution compared to Nug. But I think again, this is probably going to be one of those races where, as it progresses, we start to see a little bit of a split in just what each runner is going for, you know. Nug will obviously feel probably a fair bit more confident in his chances of taking the victory, whereas Gus is, as I say, as things progress, we're probably going to see him more likely just aiming to give a good shot and hopefully break through that PB barrier. But we'll see. Still very early on here.
Yeah, we see Nog leaving prison lane there for 143. He did have the missed gate hop on the second gate, so losing a little bit of time there, but still clean enough.
Yeah, we'll see Nog now load into Metal Harbor, so despite those load times, despite the small little bits of RTA drawback of playing on GameCube, Nog looking very comfortable early on. No mistakes from him whatsoever, I would say, and fantastic RNG as well. But there's a little bit of a slip up there, just narrowly losing some time to that somersault, rather than getting that. Opting to take the springs here rather than the routine spin dash jump we normally see. It's an interesting choice from Nog.
I think we have seen that from Nog throughout the tournament. Only loses about a second and really removes any chance of dying. I don't think we've seen it too often in this tournament, but we have seen deaths, not regularly, but sometimes frequently in Hero Story.
We certainly have seen the occasional death early on in Metal Harbor. So I can appreciate Nug opting to go for a safer strat there. As we see him progress through the level, Gus now also loading in. Getting over that birthday gap. And Nug approaching the missile skip section on solid pace here, you know? There really hasn't been a mistake to speak of yet so far from Nug.
Yeah, and Gus very narrowly avoiding that death we were talking about with Nug.
Yeah, that's the
taking
thing.
the springs instead.
Last thing he'll want there.
You can see the potential treachery in going that way. I think most people tend to die there either because they don't charge up their spin dash enough, or they end up pressing the A button a little too early and getting hover instead of a jump. But very important ways to die there.
I've also seen you can, of course, accidentally go for that homing attack off that final enemy a little bit too early and lock onto the one behind you, rather than simply propelling yourself forward. Oh! There is a little bit of a blow for Gus there, losing around about 15 seconds of time to that death. We'll note that one down.
Barely made it.
That's unfortunate. The less of that, the better for Gus. But he'll keep going here. Nothing majorly of damage, although I actually should correct myself. We won't be noting down Gus deaths, we'll be noting down Boostler. I made a small little blemish there, but that's no problem. Gus now coming up to the missile skip section.
Ignoring that little boo-boo from Tethys there, we see Gus avoiding to take the back of the loop that time round, not trusting any potential loop speed killing him.
He's going to go for another attempt at the missile skip, but locking on, looks like he's homing attacking here, or perhaps jumping a little bit too late. Doesn't get up there as well, he's not going to make this. And he's going to subject himself to another little chunk of time loss there, another 15 seconds or so, or perhaps even more actually, based on that timer, that he's going to miss out on in that gap to that he has to close if he wants anything here. Really struggling with missile skip. I wonder if he's just going to bite the bullet.
Does get it, but that is about the 5th attempt of asking. Obviously, did take that big 20+ second death, so very unfortunate not harbor here for Gus. Let's see if he's able to bounce back from it though. Once he finished off the stage and moving in to Green Forest and the Shadow 1 fight.
Yeah, and we see more consistency on Boostler's end, as he is yet to really, as we've said a few times now, not really make a big slip-up. Clean enough Shadow 1 fight, and now he'll load into... Oh, that's not good. That's not good from Gus. Opting to jump very early, and unfortunately taking a huge chunk of time loss so early on in the run, which you just won't want to see.
Gus would have been fine with the jump off he had if he hadn't home attacked so early. With that early homing attack, he was so far away from that platform that he just could not save himself. Had he adjusted his angle before homing attacking, he probably would have been fine there.
Interestingly, he opted to go for that, after already taking that chunk of time loss. It is, if it goes wrong, that last little jump towards the goal ring, it can cause you, like we just saw there, a big chunk of time loss. I don't know if he's going to opt to go for it a second try, or if he'll simply take the loop instead. Looks like he is taking that decision. Probably the correct decision to do in the circumstances. Just get yourself out of this split, onto the next one.
Yeah, note for runners, it is not that much slower to take that loop there. It's a pretty decently paced loop, but I do recommend jumping over the speed pad at the end. It's a little bit faster, and there's very little risk to it. That is if, of course, you're not confident going for that loops yet. So it's a nice little beginner strat that you can start utilising if you're new to speedrunning.
Yeah, that's the thing, again, about having these backup strats, having these other things in mind to maybe go for if you're not so confident with the higher-end strats. But we see Nug here almost landing a wall run, set himself up nicely, and did get the loop speed. Fortunately, it didn't fling him into the river below. Instead, putting him back on the routine track here, and just cruising his way up the tree now. Solid stuff again from Nug.
He was quite fortunate then not to take the death, and definitely making our job easier by not having to calculate the time for that death.
Less of that, the better. Gets in nicely there. Loop speed well executed there from Nug. And we see Gus come out with a 15 Shadow 1. Not a bad fight at all. Obviously got it all to do in terms of catching up to Nug, if that will be his main focus at the moment. But yeah, more of that will be exactly what Gus is after. Just getting through splits, no real problems, and clean enough execution as well. As we see Nug now, leaving the Prison Island section of the game, he'll be into Pumpkin Hill. Going to be interesting to see if his strong RNG start from Wild Canyon will carry over here. That's also loading into Green Forest now. Not getting the spin dash early on that is the optimal thing to go for there. Instead getting rather unfortunate with his light speed dash. Coming up nicely, we'll see what Boostler's Piece 1 will be here. Tried to go for the upgrade skip and gets a 3-foot gap Piece 1. That's an interesting piece because...
it can spawn but not there.
Yeah, not this time unfortunately for Nug. And make his way up to Pumpkin Mountain now.
It's closer, 2 more left.
We'll just see now how the rest of this set will play out, as he needs to walk a little bit further there to get that hint monitor. Of course, playing on GameCube again, a lot less hint monitors in these Knuckles and Rouge stages. Does get Twin Skulls, which we've seen a lot of people opt for that check here. Nug did not go for it, and as a result, does lose a little bit of IGT, but a respectable decision in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, having to make a long travel to get another hit monitor. Fortunately, it was in the right direction.
You really see the big difference there, and you could almost argue how much more of a luxury that PC and 360 PS3 runners will have in playing these stages. Back in the day, they didn't have so many opportunities to claim these little directions towards which piece you were going to get, so... yeah, you can see why a lot of people do struggle with these hunting stages. The more time you put in, the more knowledge you have, you'll get the hang of it. As we see Gus here, still in Green Forest, deciding to back out of that loop speed skip, to get down to the other side of the loop instead after sort of determining that he didn't have enough height to make it. Plays it safe instead. Coming up towards the end of this section now for Gus with what looks to be a solid sub 2 minute time. Not bad at all.
We'll see Nug now making his way towards the boost upgrade with Tails and activate those pause hovers that runners love so much. A little bit more awkward to perform on the GameCube controller than it is on the PC version. We can remap these controllers.
Yeah, quite right.
With plenty of practice, been doing this for a very long time now.
Very nicely done. That's the thing, you know, and that's why I've got a lot of respect for the people who do play on GameCube and of course console as well. You know, they don't have some of the fortunes that we have playing on PC.
Ooh,
just missing out there.
A little bit too much time down the cycle. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Double
Speaking of
there,
unfortunate, yeah,
Go
not
ahead.
getting the good one there for Gus. See, he does get lucky the second
Pumpkin
time.
Mountain. This is way over. Obviously, worst case scenario for this piece, you get Pumpkin Mountain level containers, which I'm not quite sure if that can spawn coal iron bars or not. But even if in a hero setting, it's very unlikely. Gets Pumpkin Triangle now. He'll have to make his way over to Pumpkin Mountain via the rocket here. But as you say, just not the nicest piece to get is double containers. More decent execution here from Nug, landing these balls hovers very nicely. Looking likely for... I'm not quite sure what cycle this is going to be, but solid enough stuff.
That is first cycle.
First cycle for Gus, for Nug rather. Coming up nicely towards here, you know? Yet another stage with minimal errors from Nug. A little bit slow on the approach up that hill there, walking along the path where the enemy would have spawned, so some good quick thinking from Nug there to take out that enemy. And now he'll just march his way to the finish line as we see Gus entering the same stage.
We'll see Nug here come to the end of his mission streak, getting a 250, not bad after missing that cycle.
Yeah, that's not a bad first cycle time at all. Of course, zero cycle, if you can pull it off, does save you a lot of time, probably knocking you down to times of like 204 and such in that ballpark. But, you know, it's a difficult trick to pull off. Nug being rather unfortunate there not to get it. Gus also, speaking of being rather unfortunate there to miss Weight Hop, which would also save him some good time and put him on a good pace for a low cycle. Sounds like Nug is not too happy with his performance in Mission Streak there, but I thought it was alright, given the small little bits of misfortune. We see him now loading into Aquatic Mine. He's had decent enough RNG so far. Gets a yellow ping here.
You get a ping into this gold?
Yeah. It's going to be Skull Steel Beam.
He
did in fact get a free piece there.
And then heading to the wrong beam.
It's closer.
But the good RNG continues, he just needs to make it work here. And water level 2 height, so a decent set from Nug. Landing the wall run nicely. Making his way over to line himself up for this sign clip now, which will get him into Ghost Room very nicely. And just taking out that ghost.
Not
yeah, it's always good to see. It is always fun to see, of course. I think Knuckles will actually home in on the ghost if I'm not wrong. So it's not the hardest thing in the world to pick off, to pull off rather, and it does always look pretty good when you do it.
We're
seeing Gus here.
1.5, well, probably 2.5 cycle. Really, it's not really a cycle. This one, it's a little bit slower than the second cycle.
Opting for the high jump as well, rather than moving forward a little bit longer on foot and getting that later lower jump, which will save you a little bit of time. But Gus, just more examples of playing it safe, getting himself through these stages. Not on bad relative pace at all. I don't think. Obviously, that Metal Harbor was a big blow for him, but if he keeps it up, if he just stays in there, sticks around, and just gets himself through each stage one by one, keeps focused, I think he's going to come away with a respectable time here, Gus.
Yeah, definitely getting that just after second cycle time, so getting a 2:37 here, not bad at all.
No, not too bad. Now we'll see Gus also load into Aquatic Mine now. Going to be interesting to see if he can match that good RNG from Nug, who is currently making his way through Route 101. So a fairly sizable advantage in terms of splits here for Nug. A whole stage ahead, in fact. It was a quick one though, so by all means an opportunity for Gus to stay within relative touching distance in RTA, if nothing else.
Yeah, couldn't quite make out your 3 pieces there on Gus's screen, and not getting a ping either, so needing that reset. And no ping again, and 0 lives, and X out 4 lives.
Well, something that's quite interesting here, I'm not quite sure if this would be the case in a tournament setting, but of course this is going to be, I believe, the only time that Gus is allowed to do this. At least that would be the case in a normal run.
And it does work for him. He does get the 3 piece in the cutscene. So
wow, look at that.
Old band drywall strats coming into play here.
Yeah, of course. There is a rule in place which means that I believe it's been adjusted slightly in recent times, where if it only applies to stages with pre-cutscenes, so something like Aquatic Mine or Green Forest, etc. Places where you'll have to watch a little bit of an intro cutscene before the stage actually gets started. You're only allowed to exit out of the stage once. But minecart dumping area, of all pieces, fortunately he's gotten that piece too, so it's not the worst case scenario, he just needs to make his way over. But yeah, never a nice piece to see.
Struggling to get this sign clip out here.
Yeah, certainly struggling indeed. He's just needing to line himself up a little bit more.
Might be better set here, just changing that water level to 2 and making his way down there, but... Oh, he does get out.
Makes his way out, though. Narrowly misses clipping back in downs there. And he'll grab this piece. Oh, that's interesting. almost
grabbing the minecart from the outside.
Yeah, almost disaster there for Gus. I don't know if he could have been falling down there, but he makes it out of Aquatic Mine. Minecart dumping area not hitting him too hard. And now here we go, into Route 101 for him as well, as we see Nug, who continues his good, strong performance here, loading into the desert section now. Going to be interesting to see what kind of strats he can pull off. Obviously, GC skip is a lot easier to execute, of course, on its namesake, GC, due to some more favourable collision. But we'll see if he goes for pole hop here. Indeed. He's going to line himself up to IL pole hop. Hello! And there you go. That's just what Nug is capable of, you know? These are the kind of things that these ILers have got in their lockers. That's a, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that's a frame-perfect pause hover. That's or very close to that you need to land that jump.
2 frames, I think you need for it, but it's very, very tight either way.
Yeah, and very impressive all the same. So strong stuff from Nug there, showing off the kind of things he's got up his sleeve. Making a great start here to Hidden Base, and getting a lot of height on that pulse hover as well. Really, really good stuff, as we see Nug gradually making his way through Route 101 as well. So not far behind in terms of getting into... Oh, sorry, Gus, my mistake. They have similar names, you know, Gus, Nug. There's, you know, G's and U's in there. Maybe I'll stick with Booster instead. It's glad to know that I'm afforded these minor slip-ups. It's been a long day.
107 check from Nug. Very, very good check.
Really, really impressive, yeah.
Taking his time a little bit.
Landing those shots as well.
But yeah, for the most part, very, very clean hidden base here.
Fantastic stuff, you know. This is going to be a very low 140, I believe.
Should, if he cleans it out well, be a sub 140. Oh, and just making that one mistake with his lock-ons. So
it's not the worst time loss in the world.
Yeah, probably does throw away that sub 140 opportunity, but still a very, very good time going at 141, 142.
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff. As you say, that little tiny bit of time loss there at the end, just taking away that sub 140, what could have been. But either way, fantastic performance. A very, very cool thing to see with IL pole hop, as it's known. Gus here actually not looking too bad throughout the course of Route 101. He's coming up on the end of it now. Takes a little hit on that wall there. I don't know how much that will affect his speed. He should just be able to catch up to the President's Limousine with minimal troubles.
Do some making his start through Pyramid Cave.
Indeed, not opting... Ooh. Getting Vertex there, I believe. 218, Route 101, just to call attention to that from Gus. That's not a badly executed stage at all there. Nug struggling a little bit with the chow box over there. But should come up with a relatively low upgrade time. I'm predicting a 33, or I was until that happened. That'll be a 34 instead. Now we see Gus also loading into the desert section of the game. Nug getting over that very nicely and coming across this rail with strong speed. You know, if he can get this door skip first time, which he does, very strong pace here from Nug. And I'm interested to see what he opts to do at this section of the game. I imagine he'll go for snake skip. But yeah, very, very clean stuff. He does land snake skip. Very well done from Nug there. He just keeps going. Nothing is stopping Nug in his tracks today, it would seem. At least not yet. Very, very, very clean execution here. He's landing everything he needs to perfectly. And that'll be a superb pyramid cave there. Only a little bit of time loss at the start. Oh, I spoke too soon. Well, the worst possible place for Nug to die there, right at the finish line of the stage, losing it to last gravity bounce. And that'll set him back by about 30 seconds. That's really unfortunate because now he's missing snake skip. Looks like that may have just taken a little bit of a knock to his execution for a second there, losing that chunk of time. And it really did look like he was on PB pace, so he's going to want to try and get back onto that pace as soon as possible if he is going to get it. Gets a successful snake skip now. Well, that's a really, really cruel place to lose that time for Nug. Really, really unfortunate. We're trying to line up for another attempt now. I don't know if he will go for a second attempt. It's not a very, very common mistake to make there, falling at that final hurdle, but he does opt to go for the safer strat, instead taking a 140 plus around about 30 seconds there. Unfortunately for Nug, that'll be a little bit of a hit to his overall time, but we will make a note of that death there. I believe that is Nug's first death. As we see Gus on the right screen here, coming out with a 211 hidden base, not too bad at all. It's solid stuff from both runners. So I'd say roughly I'd give or take around about 30 seconds to Nug's time here as he enters Death Chamber now. Going to be interesting to see how well he performs what he's had. He's had good RNG so far. Let's see if that continues. Did I see a free piece there? I'm not sure if my eyes deceived me or not. But he's going to make his way over to Blue Room, which will be in the middle of Red Eyes. This piece is obviously favourable for the preferred death strat, so I imagine we will see a few more things just to note down for Nug. As he makes his way over to his piece 1 now, collecting it fairly nicely there. And now opting to throw himself into the flames to get himself back to Red Room in hopes of spawning a piece 2. Gus, on the other hand, starting off Pyramid Cave decently here, coming up on the upgrade now. He should get here in relatively okay time. I'm saying around about 37 or 38, low 30, or just about 37 there. Eggman's eye level piece 3 for Nug on the left there. He's going to make his way back to core now. So again, good stuff from Nug. You know, it's nothing insane in terms of RNG and Death Chamber, but he's made it bend to what he needs it to bend to, and he's got a solid time as a result. So I believe 1 death strat there for Nug, so that's something that we'll make note of again, but not a very huge amount of time loss to keep track of. Now we're seeing Gus coming through.
Hello, I am back now. You are free to take a breath.
Thank you very much. I hope that I held that down there. Prophet just having to dip out for a second. But this is interesting. It's looking like, for a second there, it looked like we were going to see Gus take the upper platform and go for one of the skips. Instead, he's taking the lower route, the safer route, and opting for the faster loop jumps as well.
Yeah, he did have storage as he went under that last platform, so that did make him roll when he landed on the other side. It's one of the few we try to avoid storage when we do go under, because it's a rare instance where that does actually occur, which will affect you.
I don't know if you had noticed on stream, but I kind of put Nug in the mud, unfortunately, with a bit of commentary cursing. As I was saying, just how well he was executing, and unfortunately lost about 30 seconds to a death right at the end of Pyramid Cave. Gus also following suit! Oh my word. Well, that's a lot more of a hit for Gus than it was for Nug. At least in terms of raw time loss, because it looked as if that was around about 40 to 50 seconds. That's really unfortunate. We see Nug getting out of King Boom Boo. That's a big, big chunk of time loss for Gus. He's not going to be too happy with that, because that was a simple mistake to make. Don't like to be too harsh, but he's racing to get back to his part now. Actually on better speed pace than he was on the first time around, so opting not to go for an attempt at the super bounce, just trying to get himself through the loop. I don't even know if he's going to attempt to go for the jump over again. No, we're seeing a bit of a pattern here from both of our runners, in fact. Once a mistake is made, they're opting to go for a safer strat on the second attempt.
Yeah,
which is fully respectable.
Definitely that once bitten, twice shy kind of mentality in play here from both our runners.
Looks like Nug opting to go for super bounces here, although possibly lining up a profit bounce there instead as a backup strat, which he just about makes work. That was a narrow one there. Looks like he's abandoned the lies of super bounces as they would be. Not consistent, not reliable, and is instead opting to go for profit bounces. But, well, there we go again. Super bounces just causing trouble, but he does make it work. And he just needs the final hit now. I didn't actually quite see, it looks like yellow and black stripes there was Gus's piece one. And batting the hourglass, another piece which he'll opt to reset.
Nice try,
White family piece one. Interesting that he's not going for the free piece checks of Bugs on Patrol and Roasted Keys. At least not that I saw. He'll make his way over now. Solidly executed Egg Golem there from Nug. And now he's safely into space, so going to be interesting to see how well he can perform this one. Of course, everybody's favourite Bofa skip.
Just opting for White Family Death Strats here. Very interesting decision.
Yeah, Green Room Death Strats are always a little bit finicky, just in how they do play out. Golden Goddess, piece 2. That's an interesting one that he's opting to take, so it looks like he's not going to be too picky with the hand he's dealt. He will just make his way over, but he's looking a little bit low here. He knows where it is. He's going to make his way up to that upper blue section and just claim his piece 2. But he wants to be careful here, not to land on any flames. He is on 0 rings.
Yeah, I think Gus might have initially been looking at that number of lives that he did have available to him and thinking it wasn't worth attempting multiple death strats.
Nug there, getting out
a death there, though.
Through both, I believe that was his second attempt at it. Or perhaps it may have been a opt to go for the checkpoint and then make his way back, which we've seen a few runners do. But yeah, calmly cruising now.
Because they're dropping a little bit too quickly, so getting thrown out every attempt. He gets the zip on the third attempt.
He makes his way out. A little bit of camera troubles, but he just makes his way over to his final piece. Which, what was it? It was only one who's looking down. So not bad in terms of execution in Death Chamber there either from Gus, you know. He'll enter the 2 desert bosses now, Golem and Boom Boom. And yeah, hopefully we'll see him pull them off quite nicely and just get into space in good time. We're seeing Nug here coming up towards the final section, which we've seen cause a few runners some particular problems. He opts to clip back in bounds to go for the safer strategy here, rather than putting any potential risk of falling down and losing upwards of a minute time loss to missing the goal ring. Plays it safe, comes out with a 1:39 on the clock. We're seeing Gus here lining up a cap boost that looked a little bit early. Yeah, and as a result, King Boom Boo is not going to play fair game. He's instead going to have to make what he's dealt with here work, is Gus, waiting for these fireball shots to come around before an opportunity will present itself to take out that smaller Boo. Now looking to line up the hits here now, as we see Nug load into Meteor Herd. He's had fantastic RNG throughout this entire run, and he's made what debatable parts may be presented to him work very well, but he's going to have to do what we see on GameCube, as we were discussing earlier.
Ooh.
Oh, between the rotating beacons piece 1, having to travel all that distance and getting a rough piece even with it.
Not heading to the right spot either.
No, he's opting to take the reset now. That's just the big kicker in the teeth of GameCube Wild Canyon. Wild Canyon? A little bit late for that. Meteor Herd, my mistake. 0.5 instead. Another low piece, but a better one. Offers up some favorable sets, we believe. But if word is to be believed, obviously 1024 sets on GameCube and console and every platform can have some variations, so who knows, maybe we'll see a bit of differing fortune here from what we're used to. Doesn't get the free piece there. Gonna have to make his way all the way up to the top platform now. Has he seen something we haven't? No, he's mixed up the piece here.
Yeah. Doing a few deku checks here, looking for free pieces.
As we'll see in Nug coming through quite well in a golem here, it would seem. Trying to get the spin dash jump off the arm. It didn't quite work out, but he's going to get a solid enough, close to a minute time here. Around about 1 minute 5, 1 minute 6, probably. So yeah, not bad at all. Very high 1 minute 6, but a respectable time there.
Yeah, not having the best time in Meteor Herd.
Yeah, it's looking like, unfortunately for him, his Knuckles luck has run out.
Has eventually found that piece. Getting a 119, quite unfortunate time.
Gus opting to exit out for life to take some attempts at Bofa.
Yeah, this is perfect.
That's perhaps going to spell some good fortune for him here, because of course, in terms of how quickly we're used to seeing runners execute these space stages, if Gus lines everything up here as to the best of his abilities and performs everything optimally, he could still fetch that PB. It's going to be tight, and he needs everything to go right, but it's still on. Could happen. Bit of a wide out setup there for that shot at Bofa. Doesn't work out first time, but we'll see if second try is more favorable.
Very well. If that's how you want to play, I will take it from you.
Turning nicely there. That's looking a little bit better. Doesn't quite work out there either, though, as we see Nug taking on Rouge now. A little bit of problems here, actually, for Nug. Needs to get these hits in quickly. Otherwise, death! That's one that we will have to note down. But, yeah, well, there we go. Rouge causing problems.
I think if my eyes didn't deceive me, it was about a 17.5 second, maybe 17.44?
I think that's exactly right. And we're seeing more troubles here. Rouge is not being nice to Nug. He's having some troubles here, and he's actually going to take another reset now.
No, this one has 18.14.
Yeah, Gus clips out. There is a huge gap between the runners here in terms of that IGT. But if Gus, massive credit to Gus for even staying this close to a competitor who is ranked much higher in the seedings than him. Even if he does have the advantage, of course, of playing on PC, so load times and other things such as Knuckles hit monitors will be better for him. But the camera,
Gus not hitting that camera trigger very well. Hopefully he knows where he's going out of bounds to try and save this, but
looks like he's actually managed to line it up all right. Actually, in the end, bit of an unorthodox method though.
Yeah, I guess in about 30 seconds or so we will know just where
here comes Nug. Going into Crazy Gadget now. I estimate roughly around about 40-ish seconds of time added on to that timer at the bottom of his screen, so I'm unsure if he's still capable of reaching PB.
I think you'll find it's more than that. I think it's well over a minute at this point. He lost about 35 seconds in Rouge. 30 seconds in Death in Pyramid Cave.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if PB is completely off the table now at this point for Nug.
Also, a fairly significant Meteor Herd reset, so...
We'll see now. That's an interesting, obviously, older method to get that good cam set up. He does make it out of bounds there. Nicely done from Nug. He just needs enough distance on this CGSS attempt, which it looks like he does have plenty of. Gets through nicely. It's a strong CG split there from Nug, coming out with a 54.39 time.
Huh. No problem.
Now we'll see Gus with an opportunity to take perhaps a split victory here over Nug. Getting wooden box piece one, he's going to opt to take it. I know there's some debate over these lower pieces.
I think in our 3 attempts at Meteor Herd this run, we have seen all 3 lower pieces.
Yeah, black boxes on the black platform. That's, well, you can't get a gap much wider than that between 2 pieces. in this stage, but he's going to hope for something. Of course, there's the big one, yeah.
Piece to be unnamed. The check for that free. Oh, no, not really doing much of a check for that free piece.
Unfortunately, looking like he is going to have to make his way all the way up to the top here, and hopefully come out with a solid piece free, which he can just make his way back down to.
Or stay up top. You don't want to run out one of those star pieces to end it here. He's taking that risk.
Take the shot down.
Could be behind a star to end it. We'll find out in a moment.
Grabbing that hint moment now. What's it going to be? It's Glimpse of the Meteorite, so he will have to make his way straight back up onto that rocket.
Again, if he'd, as I said, gone for that hint over this side,
nice piece to snipe from up here. Absolutely correct in what you're saying there. Nug now loading into Final Rush, almost at the finish line of this race for himself now. He will almost certainly take the victory here. He's done well overall. We've seen a lot of great stuff in this run from Nug. A bit of misfortune as well. Rouge causing troubles, Meteor Herd not so kind, and of course that death in Pyramid Cave. Really spelt the end to any potential PB hopes for Nug, but we've seen some great performance across the board from him, and yeah, I'm excited to see how he'll fare in bracket. I think he still has one more match in pools to come up after this, though, if I'm not wrong. Correct? I think he will be facing off against Stolen Cryptic. So exciting stuff to come as of yet.
Yeah, very action.
Yeah, quite right. Unfortunately, this does likely mean that we will probably be seeing the end for Gus in this tournament. But it's been an absolute pleasure watching him compete and just going up against some really, really tough opponents and doing well for himself, I really do think. Although, how is Nug looking here? Does he look a little bit low to you?
In bounce
no, I think he's okay.
Just about make this.
I don't know, actually. No, he's... Yeah. Ooh, it's very tight, but he makes it work. Nug getting into Shadow 2 there.
Also, not only is it enjoyable watching Gus throughout this tournament, but watching his development as well. He came into this tournament, before he started this tournament, I think his PB was like a 40-something. And we've seen him, not in the tournament itself, but get a PB that was a 33 during this tournament window. And including adding new strats to his runs. He didn't do Bofa before this tournament. We've seen him going for it his last couple of matches. But just watching that sort of improvement from a player is always lovely to see.
It's really exciting to see just how far he'll go, and I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing him progress even further as he continues to play the game. And that's the thing, it's such a great time to dip into playing this game, as we see Nug here taking the first hit on Shadow 1 there, opting for a restart.
Oh no!
No, he does stay in.
I think he was potentially considering that reset, and thinking better for our retimer. Struggling to get any hits here on Shadow. His rhythm's a bit off. He's a bit too fast on this third hit every time.
Yeah, these two bosses here, Shadow and Rouge, causing a little bit of trouble here. Coming out with probably what's looking likely to be a middle 35 time. A 36 flat, in fact. But that'll get Nug over the finish line.
Yeah, definitely the victory for Nug. Probably looking close to a 27 time here when you add up all his little deaths and resets. Maybe a little bit higher.
About that.
But definitely enough for the victory.
Yeah, solid performance all around from Nug. A few mistakes here and there, which will probably be kicking himself over. But he'll be happy enough with some of the things he pulled off. Specifically that IL pole hop. That's the thing I'm going to pull back to, because that was something that's really great to see when you pull it off in a hero run. It's not an easy trick to do at all, but Nug did what a lot of ILs are capable of and made it look easy.
Don't forget the hitting of CE skip as well. You get a lot of missed CE skips throughout this tournament. So when a player does manage to get it, it always looks good.
It's fantastic stuff all the time. It will give you a great advantage early on and can set the pace for the rest of the run. So yeah, GG's to Nug. Big congrats to him. We'll be looking forward to seeing how he plays in bracket and who he gets matched up against. But back on Gus just quickly. Yeah, as I was saying, it's a great time to dip into the community and just speedrunning this game in general. Because we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We got a lot of events taking place now. We're obviously in a bit of a transitional period in certain aspects, but we're very much happy to see anyone and everybody dip their toes in, and we're all happy to help out as well. So if anybody's been watching this tournament and is thinking about doing exactly what Gus has done here and throwing themselves into the game, by all means go right ahead, because you've got a great amount of people here wanting to see you do well. Gus coming out there with a solid enough Eggman 2 time as well. Looking like if he can nail FR skip nicely, he's probably going to come away, once all is said and done, with around about a 35 time. He just needs to make this work quite nicely, possibly even a mid to high 34.
Yeah, we have seen Gus struggle a little bit with this skip throughout the tournament, but has been putting some practice in. It would be nice to see him get it hit first try.
Yeah, if this works out well, then that'll be good to see.
Opting for
As
the
for the bounce method, it's not quite lined up normally here, but the camera, I think it's... I'm not sure, you know, I think that's actually going to work out.
I think he might be a bit low. I think he needs to carry this one a little bit further than he probably normally would to get around that kill plane. But interesting to see. Hoping to avoid this kill plane. Does seem to have avoided the kill plane though.
Yeah, maybe I spoke wrongly. I think he is going to get through here. So now the question is, does he have enough height?
Yeah, so his issue here is purely going to be on the height. Hopefully he does have enough. And yeah, could maybe finish this off with that 34.
Yeah, we saw a close one for Nug earlier. Is Gus going to be a little bit safer on his end, or is he going to unfortunately run the risk of a big chunk of time loss if he doesn't have that height?
Oh, he does have the height. He's looking very good.
Moving quickly as well here towards the goal ring, so yeah, as long as Shadow goes well, then this should be a very comfortable 34.
And just make sure he stays in that ball form though. He would get caught by the wall if he does come out of it, but is staying in it, will hit that goal ring. So very nice there for Gus.
Very nice. Yeah, solid stuff.
As we get confirmation of Nug's time, sorry, it's a 27:59.
So not bad at all. A solid little bit of time added on via those deaths and via that those restarts also, which we saw in stages like Pyramid Cave and also Rouge, the ones that immediately come to mind. But yeah, no, strong stuff from Nug. And now we'll see Gus here coming in to his final split. We're all rooting for him, looking to sign off this tournament on a high. Go get your 34, buddy. Best of luck to you. That's 2 hits already. Doesn't quite get the third one. Gets the third one there in rather interesting fashion there. Not even waiting for Shadow to get the hit. It does fall down. Bit of misfortune there. That'll probably kill any chances of the 34, but a 35 is still going to be a strong showing. And a really good sign of, again, just what we were saying earlier, just how far Gus rather has come already over the course of just this tournament. Often feel for more bounces here than perhaps he should. That's probably going to lose him a bit of time, but actually if he does get back on the platform, I was a bit concerned we were going to see another death there. Just needs to get through here now with one more hit, and that'll almost do it. Just needs to get this final one. Shadow not playing ball. Doesn't want to let Gus go just yet, but there we go. Great GG's to Gus. Good runs from both runners. Unfortunately, that will be the end of Gus in this tournament, but we're very much looking forward to seeing how you progress further on from here. Thank you so much for competing. But yeah, solid race there. Thoughts overall?
I did it.
Thoughts overall, I think a very good race, a very solid performance from Nug, minus a couple of costly deaths, but other than that, a very good run. And yeah, Gus just showing his continued improvement throughout this tournament. So best run during the tournament is coming in his final performance. So definitely been on that upward curve, and hoping to see a bit more from him in the future.
Yeah, very exciting stuff to see, you know. As for what's coming up next, I suppose, because we've finished here very nicely in solid time to move on to getting our next match.
Stella versus Dwarf.
Yeah, Stella versus Dwarf Master there. Dwarf, another runner similar to Gus, new on the scene, making rapid rises. And Stella, of course, everybody knows the man. He is the supermod himself. So yeah, we'll see just how well he can continue his performances here. You'll be back on commentary alongside Traitor. I'll be signing off for a brief moment. But yeah, very solid stuff there. Very happy to be here as well.
Yeah, and everyone stick around. So that next match will be up in about 10-15 minutes, and I will see you all there shortly.
Pleasure commentating with you, man. I will see you soon. Take care, everybody.